Now, we know that the sun is basically a star, which is obviously the closest star to planet Earth in the known universe. So in our sun, in this star, in the closest star to our planet, they found hydrogen, helium, carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen. Then in even smaller quantities, you got stuff like neon and iron. And again, every primary element you would need in order to create every element we find on the periodic table, they found in the sun, in this star. So from this information, they pretty much hypothesized that if the sun carries all of these elements, all these ingredients for life in the universe, that everything must have been sparked from a star. And even eventually, human beings are formed from this stardust, all these elements clustering together and forming us. Now, whether you believe this or not, and whether you even believe that they have the ability to get up there and test these type of things out, whether you believe in flat earth, round earth, it really doesn't matter. Because what really matters here is what they are telling us through this information. Now remember, they're telling us that the human body in general is composed of these same elements, and that a star in our own sun, our very own sun itself, is also composed of these same elements. Now we know that all of these cells come from different elements. These basic set of elements come together to create these cellular structures and to form all the aspects of the human body that we see. But at the core of all of this, just in between the atomic level, we have these elements. And then we look at the stars, and our very own sun, our very own star, also carries these exact same basic elements. And I mean, even in school, starting all the way back in preschool and elementary, they are hinting at some type of very strong connection between human beings and stars. I mean, what is a star? It's a ball of energy. It's this fluorescent ball of energy. And because of all of this energy, you got these light rays going in all directions when you look at a star from a distance. But then in school, when we're taught to draw a star, or when you get to get up in front of the class and put a star by your name because you were good in class that day, or you had a positive achievement, whenever we're taught to visualize a star, it's always like this: 5 points, 1 at the top, 2 at the sides, 2 at the bottom. And when we look at this, we don't really think anything of it. This is just normal. It's natural, right? It's how we've been taught to see a star. It's just a star. What's the big deal? But again, when you look at this looks absolutely nothing like the stars that we see in the sky. It certainly doesn't look like our sun, but when you really look at it, it looks a lot like a human being. I mean, look at it. You've got the head, the 2 arms, and the 2 legs. The furthest that we can link this symbol back is back to ancient Mesopotamia. And then a little bit further down the line, we see this same symbol being used in Egypt. You can take the measurement of anything natural to the universe, plants, animals, rocks, a grain of sand. And when you measure these things at length, you will always be able to find within that measurement this golden ratio, this golden number of 1.618. In everything in nature, in everything on the planet, you can find this golden ratio of 1.618, including in human beings, within the framework of the human body. That if you measure the average human body from limb to limb, you will consistently come up at this 1.618 ratio. So if you measure from the elbow to the end of the fingers, from the shoulder to the top of the head, from the torso to the kneecap, the full length of the nose to the full length of the nostril, the brow to the inside corner of the eyes, You measure these things on the average human being, and you always end up with the same ratio of 1.618. Because of this ratio being hidden within these measurements of human beings, all of our body parts and limbs and things like that come together and they align, our legs, our arms, our torso, our eyes, nose and mouth, all of these things align because of this ratio that just brings all of these things together. And with the symbol of the 5-pointed star, it's kind of used that to show the perfected man and woman, basically the perfected, perfectly crafted human being. Because when you look at that 5-pointed star, everything is perfectly aligned, all of those points, just like the human body. They call the 5-pointed star the pentagram, and pentagram comes from the word pentacle. And phonetically, pentacle is very closely related to the word pinnacle, which means the highest point, the apex, the peak of something. Basically the highest level you can reach of something. That's the pinnacle. And phonetically, pinnacle and pentacle are very strongly related. And the Greeks also named this 5-pointed star after the goddess Hygia. And Hygia is literally the personification of good health, cleanliness, and sanitation. This is where we get the term hygiene in the English language. Then you get into East Asian culture and Native American culture, where basically each point of this star represented a different aspect of human beings that connected to different aspects of planet Earth and beyond planet Earth. You start getting into all these inner aspects of human beings, these metaphysical aspects, and each point represents one of these aspects. You got one point representing air, another representing earth, one representing fire, and another representing water. And then the final aspect you find at the uppermost part of the star, at the top of the star, and that's spirit. So we got 4 earthly elements, and then we have spirit at the very top. The spirit, the essence of who you truly are, controlling and commanding these physical elements. And so when you look at a lot of this other information concerning this 5-pointed star, this pentagram, and you see that how it connects to the pentacle and the pinnacle and being the highest form of the human being, you got to think that what this is really representing is a human being who has disciplined themselves, or who has somehow figured out how to control, how to direct, and how to maintain these elements, these physical elements, by learning how to control and discipline and guide their spirit, and basically to match the spirit with the physical. This would be the pinnacle of a human being, or the pentacle, the pentagram. And that's why when you look at witchcraft and the occult, when they use that upside down pentagram, that upside down 5-pointed star, is because it represents a human being who is being controlled by the physical, being controlled by the flesh, rather than having control of their own minds. So instead of mind over matter, it's matter over mind. Hit the notification button and you'll get updated as soon as a new video drops.